The garden library is now open. I want to welcome everyone to the library. I've got three reads to share my thoughts on instead of doing full reviews. I thought creating this was a better way to showcase the plethora of books that I have read, that I have thoughts about. And so I've got these books, these selections will be grouped by the ratings I assigned them when I read them. And that way I was able to easily go back and look at my ones, my twos, my threes, my fours, and my fives and just sort of cull down what I want to share. And I do want to share that this extensive reading journey with my club is to give you a vast selection of books that await you. There's so many ways that you can look at these journeys as something you dabble in, something you've read and read and read and read over and over and over again, or something you read and shelved and thought, okay, it's interesting, but didn't alter my life in any way, shape, or form. But whatever is out there, that's what we're here to talk about. And so let's check out some of these books at this wonderful juncture in our journey. Now, as you can see by the picture that I selected, there are three books that I want to talk about, and I want to share with you how they got the number two rating. The first book is The Reluctant Gods by A.J. Aaron. The book is 221 pages. Was published August of 2011, and I read the book on September of 2020. I came across it through my Amazon books, and I thought, okay, let's give it a try. Because at its core, it's about a supernatural immortal. And that's always a great way to start a journey for me in fantasy reading. Things that I take me sort of out of my head and let me just go where the author takes me. I love a great storyteller. Um, this is book one of a fantasy series about reincarnated lovers. I did not delve into the series, and honestly, I thought the book had potential, but it wasn't what I expected when I started reading it. You may find this to be something that intrigues, interests, and enamors you. So, by all means, check it out. If that's the kind of journey that you want to be on, go crazy. I'd love to hear what you found great about this book. Hopefully, you'll join me on Discord. Always look for places you can find me within the chat below. Let's move on to book two. And book two is Married with Zombies by Jesse Peterson, or Jess Peterson. I could be saying it wrong. Please forgive me if I have misabused you of your name. It's 272 pages and it was published September of 2010. I read the book April of 2019 and it intrigued me because it starts out in such a comedic way where you have a married couple who met and fell in love. Their names are Sarah and David. Um, they're on the verge of divorce at the point where they start couples counseling. Um, on their way to couples counseling, they don't see anybody on the street, any cars on the roadway. And then when they get to their counselor's office, the doctor is sort of eating a patient. And so the zombie apocalypse begins. It started out so strong. I was really enjoying this journey because between the issues they had as a married couple and the fact that you're now in a zombie apocalypse and you need each other made for a very interesting dynamic of two people who were really not on the same page, don't really agree about anything, and still having to survive together. Um, but the drama moved me away from the story, if that makes sense. Their marriage and their issues in their marriage and the way that they kept trying to continue to find some middle ground absent of any assistance, no counselor, no one to help them, was a little jarring in the face of what you're really facing. Because, put yourself in that position. I don't have to know you to help you fight zombies if it means I get to stay alive. I don't even have to like you. We don't even have to have ever met. But if there's zombies coming and you're standing there and I'm standing there, we have weapons and we know what to do. I'm thinking we can overcome some issues and get this done. So I kind of got stuck on that in book two. You tell me what you think. If you decide to enjoy Married with Zombies, I'd love to hear from you. Let's move on to book three. And book three is White Teeth by Zadie Smith. I enjoyed the audiobook, but in writing it is 448 pages. It was released originally on April 2000. I read the book July 2024. This is a story about two unlikely friends. They're veterans of World War II. And one of them marries what is entitled in the book a tooth challenged Jamaican half his age and gives him a child by the name of Irie. And the personality doesn't match what the name means, which in Jamaican means no problem. I didn't finish this book. It was boring. Um, it took a long time to get both into these characters, and then when he veers off into meeting this woman who is tooth challenged, you're sort of looking at this from the standpoint of why, what's going on here for both of these characters. And so for that, I just sort of maybe I'll revisit it. I tend to do that, give it some time. Maybe I was in the wrong headspace, but overall, it really wasn't for me, and I didn't finish it. Now, as we go through my ratings, one means it got the slow clap. Two, it got the snaps because I thought, in terms of storytellers, I think these are really good storytellers. I just think that the stories weren't necessarily the journey that I was on or that I could appreciate. Again, I never want to yuck somebody's yum. You like it and you love it, I definitely would love to hear from you. Now, I also want to share some other things that are going to be coming up that we're going to be able to enjoy and that I'm going to feature here as categories on our journey. This is all taking shape, and I'm having such a great time with my design creativity, with the music that I'm creating for some of these shows, even playing with avatar images, floating them in and out. You're going to see a lot of great stuff. So that's what I've personally taken a background and started letting some of these wonderful tools I play with take the foreground on what you see when a video comes out. But I do want to tell you to expect some other things as well. Coming down the pike to keep our show and our library vibrant and exciting, we're going to be talking about single authors, whether it's a book or a series by a particular individual. We're going to take this library and do some deep dives into voices. I'm so sorry, voices, which is the narrators that transform the experience because I'm so heavily audiobook at this point. I definitely want to give a shout out and recognition to some of the great narrators out there. I want to do some comparison character reimaginings when they go from light to dark or from fantasy to real world. I've seen Peter Pan be everything from a wonderful and delightful children's book to a dark BDSM menage romance and really bizarre story. But we'll talk about that particular journey because I am going to share that as one of the books I really talk about. We're going to do some biographies, and for that, because these are personal journeys, we don't do the kind of rating here at the book club that I would do with other books. I've moved the rating system to adjust to whether it is moving, transparent, enlightening, powerful, or unbelievable. So when we start talking about biographies, we're going to look at them from the lens of this is someone else's journey and we're just looking through the window. We're also going to do some reminiscing on books I've read because I've been a lifelong reader that have stayed with me my whole life. Because I need to talk to somebody about Little Black Sambo that I got from my grandmother when I was a kid. I remember the cover and I remember everything that I read inside, and it is still to this day bothering the poo out of me. But I digress. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about book to movie reads. Are these good or are they bad? Because there've been a lot of books to movies lately, and sometimes the book does take a back seat to some great filmmaking. So we're going to talk about it. So for now, we're at the end of your visit to the library. Join me next time as I share thoughts, synopsis, and ratings. And until we meet again, I hope you find something great to read, friends.